And I was talking to my mom last night, and I said, well, what do you think should first thing out of her mouth? Minnie Mouse.
Welcome to Perfusion Rockstars, season 2, episode 3. Today is December 2nd, 2022. I'm Adam, this is Todd, and Sam is behind the scenes. He's the one that works all this magic. And we have Jennifer Barnum here as our guest, and we're very excited to have her. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate our viewers. And also we want to point out the new trucker hats are in, the Perfusion Life trucker hats. So next meeting, come by the booth, say hello, and get your own. So anyway, and if there are any people that are watching this video that say, hey, I want to be a Perfusion rock star, reach out, give us a call, and we'll get you on the agenda. This may be the last one of the year here for Christmas or the holiday season, and Christmas and Hanukkah and, you know, all the holidays. But what I'm going to do with Jen, thanks again for being here. We appreciate it. I'm going to do a quick overview of your resume, your background, and then we're going to ask you some professional questions, perfusion related questions. Then we're going to go into some personal questions, learn a little bit more about what makes you tick. And then we're going to do the lightning round. That's Todd's special. That's a fun way to end it. And what I have to say is that Jen has been traveling. We've been working together for about a year. This is the anniversary. And everywhere Jen goes, people say, I want you to stay or I want you to come back. So maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that. And that's always a great trait to have. So Jen started, she was an elementary education school teacher, it looks like, back in 2000 to 2003. And then for some reason, you decided to go to perfusion school and you graduated from MUSC in 2009. Jen is licensed in Georgia and Missouri. Yes, and she has been.
And North Carolina.
And North Carolina. Awesome.
And Tennessee. Yes.
And where?
And Tennessee.
Okay, great. All licenses are valuable. Good to have that. You work in Hilton Head a little bit. Nice location if anyone's been there in South Carolina. And then you've worked in Savannah, Georgia, Rome, Georgia, from the time she graduated until she decided about a year ago to spend a little time traveling and on the road. And hopefully you're learning a lot and enjoying that.
Yes.
And Jen was on the Dean's List at MUSC in 2008, 2009, great accomplishments. And she received the Dean's Scholarship. She was a winner in 2008. So that's also pretty nice. I'm sure that was helpful. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's a little bit about Jen and her background. And now we're going to start off by asking a couple perfusion questions if you're ready.
Sure, hit me.
All right.
Okay.
Not hard, I bruise.
Yeah, so this is always kind of, and it's funny, you have an interesting background, you know, with the teaching. And so we always want to start off with this. We want to know the first moment you decided to become a perfusionist.
Okay. It's kind of funny. I was telling somebody this story the other day. Teaching wasn't my first profession. It was actually my second profession. Sorry about the fuzz face back here, my traveling companion. I decided to leave teaching. It got really crazy and I thought, I can't beat my head against the wall. I love the kids. The bureaucratic ridiculousness was over the top. So I thought, okay, time to change. And a friend of mine from the teaching group said, hey, come work for us. So I did. And then left there because a friend of hers said, hey, come work for me. I want you to be a procurement coordinator for our business. And it was a design build business out of Columbia, South Carolina. And I was one of 5 procurement coordinators. They decided with the 5 different groups to take it down to 2 procurement coordinators. So what we used to do, or my job, was to bring in anything that the designers did on a build. Say, for example, we did Gibbons Estates, which is a retirement community, and we were doing Alzheimer's wing. So my job was to make sure every nook and cranny was tucked and pinned, and Alzheimer's patients tend to travel in a pattern. So the floors had to be a certain way, the walls had to be a certain way, the fabrics, all of that. So as a procurement coordinator, we all worked together, and they decided to downsize and took the 5 down to 2. So the 3 of us that were hired last were told, here's a severance package, bye-bye. And yeah, so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Well, when I was putting myself through school for my teaching degree, I worked at a credit union, and I used to do in the accounting department, I did collections on negative accounts and bad checks, and I did repos. So my accounting chief was a friend of mine at that time. We were at a company Christmas party, and I met her husband, Ty Hamilton. He has no idea who I am. He has no idea anything about this, but I was talking to him at this Christmas party, and he was actually in the program at MUSC. And he was telling me what he did, and I thought, that's really cool. Well, when it came time for me, all these years later, it was more than 10 years later, actually, and my procurement division was downsized. I thought, I have no clue what I want to do. So as I'm at the unemployment office, they said, well, you seem to be able to have skills that we can get you in something. We'll pay for you to go back to school somewhere. What would you do? And I don't even know where this came from. That just popped up in my head. And I'm thinking, I haven't thought about that since that day. Nobody knows what perfusion is. 99% of the hospital doesn't know what perfusion is. And I thought, okay, so sitting in this woman's office, we got online and pulled up MUSC's program and saw that there was an information session 2 days later in Charleston. Well, my parents still live in Charleston. So I was like, hey guys, I'm coming to visit. And we called them from there. There was 1 spot left available. So I got into the information session. I met Joe and Jeff and everything, and they broke it down, and Jeff said, hey, come and, view a case if you want. And I did. It was the following Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I won't forget this because it snowed that morning. So traffic was in Charleston. So, if it even thinks about snowing, it's complete chaos. And it was like a 1/2 inch that morning, and everybody was freaking out. And I had to go over from like West Ashley to downtown, is over 4 bridges and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm going to be there. And I was there at 5 a.m. And in that case, it was a pediatric case that went all day long. And I just stood in the back corner and answered questions. I was just quiet and scared of everything. And I thought, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen. And so I'm leaving that point and talking to him. Now, this is Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving. He said, well, the applications close next week if you're interested for next year for the 2007 start. I said, okay. Went flying home, told my mom, see ya, I got to get back to Columbia and get my paperwork. She's like, what are you talking about? Got everything in. And they wanted test scores from my SATs in 1988. Oh my gosh. So it was crazy, but I got it all done, got it all in. I had a couple prereqs, and I thought, well, I'm not really working. I'll go do these prereqs, like a second chemistry and a second physics and stuff. And so I was taking those at the tech courses and thought, if I don't get in, I don't get in. It's okay. Come out of my final exams in the spring, and I get a phone call message and that I had gotten in and to expect this package. I'm like, all right, it's on. It's on. So I'm like, I truly believe God takes care of children and the stupid.
That's great. So did the state pay for your education? Did they?
No.
Okay, because they were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been awesome, but they said that was a program that they didn't endorse, and they would not pay for it. So, and unfortunately, I was one of those at that point. I was too old for Perkins loans and whatnot. So it was all on me. I'm still paying off student loans.
Awesome. That's a great story. and interesting turns. And it's
Yeah.
Ty, this person.
Well, and that's so
In-
funny because I wouldn't recognize Ty if we smacked right into each other, and he has no clue who I am. And I just remember working with his wife Amanda, who is awesome in the accounting department, and that's how it all started. Was a Christmas party.
That's
Wow.
great. Well, maybe he'll see this video and we'll give him a shout out.
Hi, Ty. Thanks.
So Ty obviously, introduced you to perfusion a little bit, but
Mhm.
professionally, personally, who influenced you in your life? Who was the biggest influence in your life today? Or who has sort of influenced who you are?
It's kind of funny. I think it's a combination of instances and people that have all come to pass in my life, in and out of my life. And I honestly can't think of one individual. It is what it is
Mm-hmm.
as it comes, kind of thing.
Sure.
And you kind of can't control it. You just have to go with it. And I was thinking about this question, and I'm like, I don't know any one individual specifically. Other than like my parents, don't quit, keep working at it. And,
Yeah.
if it's not right, it's not going to happen. And it's one of those things that I know God will put me where I'm supposed to be. I just have to shut up and go with it.
It's interesting how parents, at least mine did as well, they sort of impact you in a sort of a non physical way. Like it's just hard to explain, right? Why you are,
Yeah.
who you are, what you do, and a lot of it you learn from your parents. And Todd's done a good job learning from his parents.
Yeah.
There you
I've
go.
had to.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
not.
funny. We, from a very early age, we were work driven, as I started, like, one of my first jobs was a retail store of a friend of my mom's. And then when I was legal to work,
Yeah.
it was Hardee's. Still can't eat Hardee's. So I've done all kinds of things. My first real career was marine mammal physiology when I was working at SeaWorld. I got out of high school. I had seen friends of mine that were ahead of me in school. They were changing their majors more than their underwear. And so I'm like, I can't do that. I have to pay for myself to go to college. I can't be farting around, trying to figure out what to do. So instead of going to college right out of high school, I went down to SeaWorld. I had a job. I was hired before I graduated. And got down there like 2 days after graduation, loaded up the car, drove it down there, found an apartment when I got there. This was before the internet, guys. And and started work 2 days later, and it's just snowballed from that point. So I think it's my biggest influences are just connections with people and things that I've done that haven't worked out, and learning experiences. And
That's great.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good segue for our next question. I know we've earlier, we were saying you're very well liked traditionally everywhere you've been so far, at least through Perfusion Life. And I'm assuming if we kept looking back, it'd all be the same. So what would you say is your Perfusion superpower? What's the reason?
It's kind of funny. My Perfusion superpower would be completely opposite. It's really my innate ability to attract crap.
Okay.
And handle it, obviously. You handle
Yes.
it.
If it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna be my case. When I was up here last winter and came back in July to help them out. And my first day back, I was in a standby, and it was a standby for a TAVR. And Alyssa comes in, and the patient's struggling and whatnot. And Alyssa looked at me and she said, "Why did Miles put you on this case?" I said, "Because it needed to be covered." And she said, "Will you go clean a heater cooler, do something, just leave." As soon as I left the room, the patient settled out, everything calmed down. They deployed the valve. I get this text message that says, "You can come back now." And I came back in. Everything was cool. roll the patient upstairs. She goes in and gets Miles and says, "You know better than to assign her a standby her first case back because it's gonna crash on pump." I'm like, "Yep, that's just and it is men, money, cases, my innate ability to attract crap."
Well, that's how you,
Deal with it. So yeah, I've had a lot of exposures to MacGyvering things, I guess you would say.
yeah.
I like to tinker. I get that from my grandfather. Both of them actually would just like to go, in the garage and tinker and fix things. And I'm that kind of person. I would rather try and fix it on my own than to admit defeat and have somebody help me.
That's a superpower. Yeah, I'm telling you. That's a good quality to have for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so now we're going to segue into some personal questions.
Okay.
We appreciate you sharing your sort of perfusion entry and your superpowers. So you mentioned before the internet, today everyone's celebrating 30 years of texting. Today is sort of the 30-year anniversary, so FYI. But anyway, so what are your personal hobbies? What do you like to do when you're not attracting crap?
I do love to hang out with my friends when I can.
Yeah.
I like to read. I am teaching myself to play the ukulele.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, actually I'm having help from Fender.com. They've got amazing classes online and they go through everything, tablature and everything. So and it's portable. It's a lot, there's more room in the car for a ukulele ukulele than a guitar or something else. So I figure, well, when I'm at home, my thing is working on the house, working on the yard. I bought this for the first time 3 years ago. And I've done everything myself as I can through the yard and the house and everything. But I don't have that when I'm here. So when I'm done at work, I have downtime that I find myself thinking, I've not had downtime in so long, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
So I started playing the ukulele.
That's great.
Not good at it yet, but
I might try that myself. I like that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
I'm sure
Fender.com. I'll have to remember.
Fender.com. They have the classes and they're so easy to follow.
Okay. Wonderful.
That's great. So that's a nice segue. Your ukulele. What type of music are you listening to, or do you like? If you are music.
Well, I am one of those people that play the Christmas music. Well, before December 1st. I'm sorry. I like it. It gives me joy. But one of my other jobs, for 5.5 years, I was manager of a music store. Back in the day, it was called Camelot Music.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And it was music and videos in the malls. And so when I started at the store as temporary Christmas help in the Charleston store, and by January I was key holder and full time. And then I got moved back down to Orlando, found myself in Orlando again, and was in 5 different stores there, starting like the Sanford Mall and Orlando Mall, all of those guys. So if you were at that point, we would get CDs to play every week when all the new stuff came out. Mm-hmm. And if you were there, you got the free CDs. So I have hundreds of CDs. So if you look at my CDs, you really can't figure out what I like to listen to. I think my stations on Sirius are the 70s, the 80s. Love those. But also outlaw country. I've got No Shoes Radio, Margaritaville, Buffett is my big guy. Love Van Halen, love Van Morrison. I love ska. It just depends kind of what mood I'm in, whether it's Beastie Boys to Flow Rider to, Michael Bublé's Christmas. It really depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah,
I like that. You don't limit yourself, and I do the same thing. Listen, to everything.
I depends on the mood. I like good music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you sound similar.
All right, Jen. So, what would the name of your biography be?
I was thinking about that too, and I think it would really have to be it's Jennifer Barnum, my innate ability to attract crap.
Nice.
Okay. So who's gonna? No, I mean, I'm kind of interested who's gonna play.
Oh, let me get to it. So we hear the title. So if they want to turn this into a movie, who's going to play you?
Oh, okay. I'm one of those people that's never thought about that. And I was talking to my mom last night, and I said, "Well, what do you think should first thing out of her mouth? Minnie Mouse." Hey, thanks, Mom. So I think it would be more of a cross, and my aunt chimed in on this one, that it would be the seriousness side of me would be Jennifer Garner, but then it would be more Melissa McCarthy.
Okay.
The humor and stuff.
Two great actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's I honestly have never really thought about that before. When you sent me the question, I'm like, I have no clue. I got nothing.
Yeah. It's always funny when you ask your family. It's kind of like how they see you almost, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm like, okay, who is an actress that would be tap dancing on the brink of insanity? Because that would be my autobiography volume 2.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's great. So now is our lightning round. I didn't send any questions. I want you to be surprised.
Okay.
So how's it gonna work? I'm gonna run through these questions. You just try to churn off quick answers, and then we'll go back through and you can explain yourself in case you say anything that's a little off the wall. Okay?
Okay. Sorry in advance.
No, it's all right. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna get going here. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Night out on the town or staying in?
Depends on what time of year it is.
Okay. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely. Sorry, y'all.
Beach or mountains?
Oh. Depends on the year or time of year. I love both.
Are hot dogs a sandwich?
Technically, yes, because it's in a well-folded bun. But no, hot dogs are meat.
Stranded on a private island, what are your 3 items you're taking?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I hope that I would have like an indispensable lighter, maybe. I'm not good at making fires on my own. If you can't flip a switch or throw a match. I would hope, I would hope a good book just for boredom. And I would hope, gosh, only knows, I don't know, a volleyball named Wilson, so I had a friend.
Nice. Okay. Well,
how many seconds was that?
76.
In your face!
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking about the volleyball thing.
maybe something. Well,
Oh,
cool.
gosh.
So let's run back through it. So
Okay.
waffles over pancakes.
Well, I mean, think about it, because a waffle is a more considerate pancake. It has those little squares to hold all the syrup and stay there, instead of just running off onto the plate, and then you have to smush it around on the plate,
Yeah, that's true.
Waffles
So
are
I
more
like
efficient.
the waffles a lighter flavor to it too. It's like Dunkin' Donuts versus Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
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 So it depends on time of the year whether or not you're going out or you're staying in.
Yes.
Is it weather?
It is. It's weather. That's a big thing, and I guess it just kind of depends on my work week. I love going out with friends. Some of my most memorable times in my life are random middle of the night things, like when I was in school. My friends and I drove from Charleston to Notre Dame for a baseball hat for her boyfriend and drove back.
Wow.
And I mean, we didn't leave until like midnight, because that's when we got the wise idea to do this. drove all night, got up there, got a nice around, came home. And then other nights, since I've been in Savannah, met two of my a quick beer to leave for a movie, never made the movie, and we're in the middle of the street with McDonald's French fries fighting off birds for them. Just that kind of thing. But in the wintertime, there are certain things that I would rather stay in and do in the winter.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with cold. It just hurts.
We
But
know that.
in the
Miles
summer,
knows that. I
definitely.
know that. Yeah, we all know that
Yeah.
about you.
Poor Miles. I'm sure Miles is like, help me.
Yep.
So you're like me. We both think pineapple belong on pizza.
Yes.
Yes. That's good.
It's a vegetable. Well, okay, it's a fruit kind of, but it actually is considered more of a vegetable. But I mean, what else is on pizza? Mushrooms, vegetable. Green peppers, vegetable. Tomatoes.
Does it have to
vegetable.
be with ham? I think you need the saltiness.
It
of
doesn't
ham.
have to be with ham. Actually, I really like a super cheesy pizza with pineapple, pepperoni, and green pepper.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. It works well. The heat with the sweet.
Yes, exactly.
He gets it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then beach or mountains? Again,
It kind of
this time
depends
of
on
year?
the time of year. I have vacationed in the mountains. Absolutely loved it. 2 years ago, we did a hiking trip to Glacier National Park in Montana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fell in love with it. I've stayed in the Smokies with friends, had a blast up there. But I'm a Southern girl. I'm a Carolina girl living in Georgia, but I'm in Savannah, so that's on the beach too. And that is my decompressing place. So just go sit out there, plop my chair, and just face the water and let it all blow.
Yep.
Awesome.
I like that. Then so hot dogs, I think you said they are technically a sandwich, but they're also technically not a sandwich.
Yeah, because a hot dog is a meat.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, or hot dogs. Yeah. It's
Well,
just
but
hot
okay,
dogs.
so it comes in a bun, but if you think about it, what's a hoagie? A hot dog bun.
Okay. That's it. That's it right there. Sandwich. And then private island. I figured a book was gonna be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep my mind sharp,
Yeah.
sort of. What's left of it?
Yeah. Those are good answers. The lighter.
Yeah.
You need a buddy.
Yeah, I always need.
I'm sure you thought about your cats, but then
Yeah.
you have to feed them, and maybe you didn't want them stranded with you on the island.
Yeah, mhm. See, I
Yeah.
don't know that they would travel well enough to get into that situation because I couldn't get to an island from a car. One of them would fly well, the other one, not a good idea.
Okay. Well, Jen, we appreciate everything. We're going to wrap up here. I do want to give a shout out to Paul Posada. He was the one that
Thank you.
recommended that we do this.
Thank you. Yes, I was working with him at Emory.
Yep. So Paul said, you need to interview Jen. So
Yeah.
Another one of your fans.
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
funny. Yeah, he found out I was in the same hotel when I was there, and he was getting ready to leave. And one night I hear this knock, knock, knock on my door, and I'm thinking, oh, it's too late for housekeeping. And I go to the door, and it's Paul with a case of water. He goes, I'm leaving. I can't take this. And he just walks right in and puts it on the counter. I'm like, all right then.
Yeah.
Travelers taking care of travelers.
Yeah, that's good to
Yep.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Hmm.
So is there anything else that you would like to share, Jen, before we wrap things up here that we haven't asked you, or, you kind of look at this?
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. I'm just having a blast. It's a nice change of pace from full time and why I started traveling.
Yeah.
Like the new trucker's hat, by the way, I still wanted the white cotton one.
Yeah,
So
we
if
can
you
get you that.
put my name on it, please.
There'll be
Yeah.
a lot of them at Carolina Perfusion Symposium in July.
I tried to get there in July. Where was I, Adam? On my way back to St. Louis.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. But anyway, but thanks a lot. Happy holidays to everybody. This will probably be our last rock star
one.
here by the
Happy New
end
Year.
of the year. Yeah, happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Yes.
And we that don't travel and do call weekends, and we appreciate what you do. And to everyone out there that is covering over the holidays, we appreciate you very much. And hopefully you won't have to do it every year. And you'll get your turn. But that's perfusion, isn't it? So anyway.
That's Perfusion. Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
And keep Perfusion rocking, and we'll see you.
Thanks,
Jen.
guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. Can't forget everybody. You got the blue Hanukkah there. There you go. My dad will be so proud. But
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Good job. Good
Thanks,
job.
guys.
Thanks again, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
All right.